How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Aftercast. This is episode 71, the Late Night Transformers Show. I'm your host, Victory Saber 77, and we got a good show. I say that every week. It's probably gonna suck, but you never know. But thanks for joining in with us. If you're watching us live, and if you're watching this in video form, awesome. Also, but let's get into some introductions. We'll get into some hauls because yesterday was Force Friday, and then we'll get into some topics and just shoot the breeze. But let's have some introductions. Charles, where can they find you, man?
What's up? I'm Charles. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Optimus4Prez.
Sweet. Dalton?
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at DaltoniaSTFs. And yeah.
Josh?
I'm everywhere at G1Xtron, and my Facebook page is the G1Xtron. So.
Go. And I am James Victory Saber 77. Find me on Twitter, YouTube, and on Instagram. It's the Victory Saber 77. Hopefully, we'll have Dakota in here, Primal Sabbath, and our good buddy Trent. But Halls. Let's start off with that. Charles, get anything? Any Star Wars?
No, I don't have the money.
No, like test Coke products that you stole out of the refrigerator?
Nope.
Hey, you stole out of the refrigerator.
Isn't that what he said that the lab guy said last time? Oh, just go take them out of the fridge.
Gives you just a tad bit of a tingle sensation, but it's all good. Dalton, get anything this week?
I actually got one thing, and it was thanks to an Amazon gift card. It was the Prime Sergeant Cup, mainly for the Combined Wars Ironhide. I would love to get some Star Wars stuff, just so low on cash right now. So that won't be a thing for much longer. I've got a job interview Wednesday. So.
Awesome. Josh, what did you get, man?
I got the Sparrow BB-8 remote control. I got a Kylo Ren poster, and I got basically the first one. I got 2 Stormtroopers, First Order. I got Kylo Ren, Finn, Rey with her little BB-8, and Chewbacca. Yeah. And today I was at the house all day today, but I was like, hey, I got to run a 30-minute errand for my mom, and that's the 30 minutes whenever they try to deliver blue streak. So it looks like that's not going to come till Tuesday now.
Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot it's Labor Day. Crap.
Yep.
So I have stuff coming in too. That sucks. Oh well. For me, same stuff. I got the Star Wars 6-inch black figures. I was gonna get the 3 3/4 inch, but I'm gonna hold off. I think those are gonna be easier to find than the black 6-inch figures, especially the Stormtrooper. I went out today and all the Stormtroopers were pretty much gone. So if you need to pick them up on Friday, SOL.
Yeah, I went Friday night and nothing.
So other things that I got, Leonidas, Perfect Effects version of Lao Convoy, great figure. You do have to be kind of careful with it, but all in all, it's a fantastic piece. Right up there with the best, one of the best for third parties this year. And then I picked up the IDW collection 6, 7, and 8 volumes. So that was pretty cool. So I just need to get the Phase 2 volumes 1 and 2 now. All right, so moving on into topics. A little suspended now. Star Wars Force Awakens. We talked about this. Oh, I'm going to go over shows. I forgot about that. Man, I'm just losing it. Gosh. Need to help my memory there. We have some other shows. We just finished the Cybercast, which airs on G1Xtron's channel every Saturday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I believe it's going to be in video form right after the show's done. Go check that out. Give it a like. We also have a... It's up now.
Yeah, but watch this though.
Yes, watch this though. But we also have oh man, all my viewers just took off. Oh, that sucks.
I
Damn.
was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Just yeah, it's available after the show's over. So
But we also have another show that we were kind of, thinking about doing because we do a lot of Transformer shows and just dealing with the subject of Transformers, and we are so much more than that. We like other things, not just toys, just other things, and we're a product of the 80s, so we came up with a new show, and it is called the Retro Spotlight. The first episode, the kind of the pilot show, is in video form on G1 Hextron's channel. It will air on G1 Hextron's channel. We don't know the exact time, day, all that. That will be announced later on, probably in a upcoming Cybercast, or check Josh's Facebook page, the G1 Hextron, and you'll find details on that. But it's going to be a great show. We're just going to take something from the 80s, whether you know it, maybe not know it, and then just dive into it. And potentially have guests on, like we'll probably have Count Marzo on for the Masters of the Universe Classics, even GoBots. We might even do a gem show. Why not? I've seen the tweets out there that some fans want us to kind of dive into everything. So
there's a lot of it too. And
yeah,
we'll be talking movies, cartoons, and just everything.
so it's gonna be fun. But definitely check that out. It's gonna be great. Again, the pilot episode, the first episode, is on video form at G1 Extron's YouTube channel, and it's on The Force Awakenings. Basically, we were just talking about Force Friday, which is it was a really great event, and that's one of the topics I wanted to start off with. Is do you think that there's any other franchise that could pull off this event that has this magnitude? Granted, this is for a movie, but this was all just dedicated to merchandise, mainly toys in itself. You see anything else that could actually come close to this?
I mean, you think about the top brands or franchises out there, and I'd say Transformers is probably second. And there's no midnight releases of that stuff. Like, I mean, you got your WalMarts that open up at midnight, but as far as like a big event, and it just being like kind of like a small, it's like a Black Friday, but just in one area of the toy section, wherever you go. It's I don't even, Transformers isn't like that, and no other brand can even like what G.I. Joe, Ninja Turtles, like none of those like are also popular, or at least Ninja Turtles is. That's not even anywhere close. So Star Wars has even fans like my dad and mom, because they watched it and stuff like that, and they thought it was cool. Like they would buy puzzles and stuff like that with Han Solo and Chewie on it. So even my parents, which are old, they're into it, and it spawned me into it. And then some of the first toys that I bought my nephew were Star Wars figures, or not figures, but little bitty dudes that he can hang from his stroller and stuff, and you can press them, and like Chewie does his, and I got
All right.
a Darth Vader
Ooh.
as well. So
Why didn't we hear that on yesterday's show? We could have done it in Wookiee.
dude, I've got a pretty good Chewbacca cry. I saw some other people, or whatever he's doing. It's his battle cry or whatever, or maybe he's just saying yes, or maybe he's cussing out Han. Who knows? But I saw there was a thing where on the Disney little thing when they ran that like 12-hour show or whatever it was, where they had people like, hey, do your best Wookiee. I was like, man, I am better than every single one of them. I'm so good at it.
Nice. That should be our call in the Botcon dealer room. Instead of Omaha, that one time we should just do the Wookiee.
So.
Yeah, that'd be good. How about for the rest of you guys? You see any other organized event that could come close to the Star Wars franchise?
No. There's just something about Star Wars. I don't see anyone
I
else
mean,
being as big.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if like there was a movie that actually was good that was to come out, then maybe for Transformers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. There hasn't been any type of, I think, movie series or just movie that's attached to merchandise like Star Wars. I don't care about Transformers. Transformers wasn't organized. A little bit was for some of the movies, just knowing that, hey, in Singapore they were doing early releases. You can get some of the chromed out versions of the Dinobots, some of that type of stuff. Or if you bought so much, you get this free or whatever. But nothing like with the magnitude of what Star Wars is presenting. Disney went all out, exclusives through their store, and I mean, regardless if Disney even owned the product at the time, I'm sure that it would still be as big. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I was thinking, what else would do this besides, we talked about this on the show last night. The only thing I've ever seen was a video game system or some type of release of a game, but that's even small in itself. Having that midnight release date, people are going and picking it up and all that, but nothing like the toys. And just the overall vibe too was really nice. People were dressed up, people were friendly. It was a really nice environment, at least in my town. All right. Sticking on the Star Wars thing, and then we'll go into something else. But what were you saying?
Oh, I said I had a question by someone. So what I'll
Okay.
do for you is I'll just put them in the chat, and you just get to them whenever you want to. But if you want to get to this one now, it's by Shelf Warmer, and he says, "Wonder if we'll see any Transformer crossovers for the new movie, because they have done that in the past, where you got Transformer Star Wars stuff."
Yeah. I mean, we got Transformers, like the Marvel characters, but I don't know. I mean,
Was that line was it very successful though?
I
not as
don't think it.
no, not as good as the Star Wars. I mean, I know in the Star Wars line, let's see, the Twilight was in there. The only other way to get another Twilight was to get the Lego version. They never really released it for 3 3/4 inch figures, but that's one thing that
It's a good question.
I would, yeah, I could see them doing. It'd be nice, but I see Transformers sticking with the whole crossover with GI Joe mask, something to that nature. That would be really cool. I think that's the only way I believe that those other franchises will get brought back up into present day. I don't think on their own they're going to be able to do anything. I mean, we've seen that with GI Joe. GI Joe just doesn't really do as well as it should, I think, in the in the movies. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, even bringing that up, I mean, we know one of the things that they're doing, the kind of the not necessarily crossover, but with Micro Machines, until now, I can't remember the last time I saw Micro Machines. Was it Star Wars?
Yeah, I
'Cause,
think last ones I saw were Star Wars. To be honest with you, Phantom Menace.
Because they used to make Micro Machines, just everything, like cities, just all kinds of cool little stuff, to where it was like I don't know, like a air filter, but could open up, and it was like a
Yeah.
kind of a little bitty base, and you could connect them all, and you can connect them to like a big city, that also kind of, I guess you could say, transforms into something else, or it was kind of like Mask or Transformers. Uh, does Hasbro own Micro Machines then, or
Well, Micro Machines was Galoob, I believe, back
right
then, and
originally?
yeah, and then it became integrated into the Kenner or Galoob, same, maybe not, I don't know, but yeah, I think Hasbro does own them. And I mean, let's put it this way: Micro Machines could have been out prior to this, but it wasn't enough to catch my eye. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I never go down the like Hot Wheel or car aisle, but I was thinking that if those are extremely popular with now the new kids and that weren't let's say around during the prequels of the Star Wars to see some of those Micro Machines, if this really takes off and let's say those things are selling out, do you think that they're like, all right, it's time to relaunch Micro Machines and kind of a little bit of everything now? Let's get a lot all those little crazy, were they 4-packs or 5-packs? I can't remember. I think they were 5, but
Oh, yeah.
they
I know what you're talking
release those, and maybe they do the crazy hot rodding cars and the Bigfoots again, and maybe they come out with some of the bases. If this line does good with Star Wars, do you think that Micro Machines might say, let's try to bring back resurgence of what we did back in the 80s?
Yeah. I could see that. The only probably stepping stone, but Star Wars is obviously doing it, but it has to be a certain size, maybe for choking hazards, because those Micro Machines were really small. But other than that, I mean, you just, don't give them to someone who's going to pop them in their mouth. But yeah, I would see that. I totally had some of those based like the car wash, and you could connect that to, like a city or like a little ramp or something, and you could start mixing and matching everything. And they were inexpensive and they were small, and I think my parents liked that. But yeah, definitely. Going back into the Star Wars really quickly, we talked about this last night. Thoughts on the amount of variants, and are you happy or not about them reusing pre-existing molds and integrating them into the Force Awakens, like the Sand Trooper, for instance?
Go Dalton.
I have no idea. I mean, I haven't collected any of the Star Wars Black Line, so I don't really have any opinion to shed on that.
Go, Charles.
Yeah, I don't have any of them either. So as long as they do them right, I mean, yeah, they would probably do good, but I just I don't have any, so I wouldn't know what to say about it.
All right, well.
Save it, Josh. Save us right now, Josh.
All right, so as far as doing it right, I don't think there's a problem there. They pretty much hit home runs all the time with the let's say Black Line figure, 6-inch Black Line series is what we're basically talking about here. The problem is, and we didn't know about all of these exclusives until Friday. So leading up to that point, we thought that, hey, I'm gonna buy these 5 figures, even if you get the Chewbacca, which is don't even need, it doesn't even need to be said, but it looks exactly like that one I got on the shelf there. But that's $100 right there. At $20 a figure, that's 5 figures. That's $100, and you've probably been saving up for that, and maybe even buy a few other things, especially if you're going to buy the $150 Sphero BB-8. So that's a nice big chunk of change. One of the more expensive ones, like the Lego Millennium Falcon.
Or just Army build the Stormtroopers too for the Black Line.
Yeah, so you're spending at least $100. Then to find out that there's going to be all these exclusives, like you're talking over $225 worth that you didn't know about, all these different places, and this is all kind of a wave one thing with these exclusives. It hurts the wallet. And if you had anything pre-ordered, then you might be, like canceling stuff if you really wanted, this, or you might have to be selling some other stuff off. And are you going to get all those exclusives? I mean, it's kind of a mess. I know they wanted to kind of save the exclusives for Force Friday, but it would have been nice if they could have at least said, like, you better save an extra $250, which is, again, a nice chunk of change since you already spent at least $100 for Wave 1. As far as them doing, recolors of some of the other ones, just the ones that we've already had that have nothing really to do with, this movie line, To us, to me and you, Jim, cool. Like you see that red stormtrooper, all right, cool. I don't mind, picking that up, or that little black R2D2, whatever, the evolution of the stormtrooper, that's cool. And you can never have enough stormtroopers, but it's I think mainly the hassle of trying to track all that stuff down, and then also having the budget for it, because you didn't have a way to budget for it.
Yeah.
Because you had no idea. I thought there might be one or two exclusives, but not this magnitude that they did. And it's all here in Wave 1. Are there going to be other exclusives down the road? You just don't know. And some people were even getting in Wave 2 as well already. So
yeah,
it's
I saw that.
Yeah, and so those guys are probably like, Jesus,
Yeah, you have Wave 2, and you even have the Disney Store exclusives where you have the die-cast versions that are $5 more in store than the regular 6-inch blackline figures too. But it just seems like it was really nice to get a lot of product if you could find it, but like you said, it hurts the wallet, because then you find out, wow, I'm paying X amount of dollars for a couple of really cool looking figures, but they are just repaints and such. So just kind of wanted to throw that out there. It's still it's nowhere near like just giving us Transformers Masterpiece and hey, let's redeco it, all that.
I mean, this is like kind of like a lot of people are kind of wanting to get the Masterpiece Starscream. They're like, all right, $70, and like, so you've kind of budgeted for that because it's about, it's coming out now, and some people have found it in stores, or I pre-ordered it, so I don't know whenever that'll end up coming, but and then whenever you go in there, it's like, oh, we actually have these 3 other Masterpiece figures that we didn't tell you about, and they're exclusives all these other places, and all right, maybe you'll get them all. And it's like, well, I was expecting to spend $70, not $300, and having to go all these other places, and they're exclusive, so it makes you kind of want them to get those ones now. It's just it's kind of a pain. It's like you get caught off guard there, because as far as exclusives, it's hard to get. Like, especially you look at like Baby Ape, MP10. At first you're like, well, he's more expensive and he's limited. Maybe I'll get him later. Well, if you want to get him later, now he's anywhere from $850 to $1,500. So
Yeah,
I don't
that
want
makes
that to happen with these exclusives. They're already expensive as they are, and they're going to be hard to track down. I don't want to have to go onto eBay and just like that Sphero BB-8. They're going to make more of them, but there's people online selling them for $1,000, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that is probably one of the number one things that was bought on Force Friday. I think the other one is Kylo Ren's lightsaber, the FX version.
Yep.
And I think just army building the Stormtrooper. Those 3, I think, were that's the thing that if you were going into Force Friday, you get first, and you go after all the rest of the little ones and such. But alrighty, we have a question. We have a lot of chat also. Cool, like it.
I put in the chat Jetfire's question there.
Jetfire48 says, wait, how many Micromasters were seen in the G1 cartoon continuity? If you're talking Japanese, well, Zone, saw quite a few of them. Saw all of them, actually. At least the bases and such, as they're connected to Countdown. And then Victory had the rescue team.
Yeah.
And such.
So, what was that, 4 right there?
Yeah. But we saw a lot more in the toy commercials, which was really cool, and it really wanted more. I remember those Micromaster toy commercials where they were like really well animated. I think they were driving up one of the, I don't know, some robot or something and doing some stuff to him. But it was really cool. That's something I was like, wow, there needs to be a cartoon on that stuff. But oh well. And on top of that, if you look at the Hasbro release of the Micromasters compared to some of the Japanese releases, their names are different, and majority of them are all good. they're and such. I mean, there's a couple of Destrons in there, Decepticons, but yeah. What does he say? What do we got here? Jetfire 48. So I don't get why Encore couldn't have reissued Metro Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, it's weird. I believe Metro Bomb. I think that's the little Micromaster that comes with Metro Titan. He was the same mold, I think, that they used in Skystalker or the Thunder Arrow, the ship that was used for Desires and Victory, which is also a base and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't go that route. I mean, we got a KO of Metro Titan that was put in a Metroplex box, which is weird. But no, they didn't go that route, which is odd. But again, you look at the amount of reissues, encores, and look at the Decepticons compared to the Autobots. They're far and few between. You get all the ones that are key characters, Starscreams, the Seekers, essentially, Megatron, Soundwave. After that, I was really surprised in the Platinum line that we actually got Trypticon. Or they're small, like the Insecticons, which, shoot, you can army build that sucker with all the reissues that came out.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Platinum line is actually making up for all the Decepticons we didn't get as of late.
Yeah?
Because there's only, one Autobot pack?
Yeah, the
Perceptor and
Perceptor Blaster, yeah.
Then you get the Insecticons, Blitzwing and Astro Train,
Coneheads,
and Trypticon.
Yeah. It's a good time to be a Decepticon fan. Which is really nice. I mean, again, why didn't they... I mean, it's Hasbro, so they don't have any type of, I guess, point to deal with Metro Titan, but why couldn't they have repackaged or repainted it? Or why didn't Takara do it into Metro Titan? But yeah. What do we got going on here?
You got one last one from Shellformer. He says, wasn't the Titanium series under the Micro Machines line?
Was it?
I don't know.
I think it was its own thing.
Titanium. Are we talking those, like, the War Within type? Those?
Like you got
diecast?
Those diecast ones. Those are the only Titaniums I know of. So.
Under the Micro Machines line, were they? I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look at the packaging.
Yeah, I know we got a couple of vehicles in the Titanium line. We got the Ark.
The Ark.
Oh, these dudes in the chat too a lot. Hey, I'm late. I told him unacceptable. Dragantron 468 says bad kitty because his emblem is, I guess, his cat. So.
Slap me for it, Josh. Grab Tuala's Auto Trooper and smash it with the hammer. Oh, Tuala, have you gotten the Spark Bots? That is the holy grail of the... I think they're the Spark Bots of the KISS players. Try and find those suckers.
I saw that he said he finally got his PC, so congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Probably only cost him $4,000 to ship.
Only cost him $1,000 max, but hey, it's all good.
Dragantron 468 wants to know how many Micromasters are there.
Well,
I could give you an exact number, to be honest. There's a lot.
Too damn many?
There's more than 2. Let me see.
You think there's over 100, probably, but there's not over 200.
So there's 24 there.
I would think like in between 100 and 150, or 100 and 125.
Let's see. Thanks. Okay. Well,
What's up, Botcon?
we got quite a few. I mean, I got 24 there. We got another one. Another 24, 48. We got at least 60, and then you count the ones that come with all the vehicles. You're looking at about around 80, I'd say, almost 100. And you got guys that come with like Atlas, Metro Titan, Sonic Bomber, Roadfire, all those
And
guys.
then you got the guys that connect, because it was the 3-pack store. It was basically 6 of them. And
Yeah.
they connect. So maybe about 100.
Yep. It looks really fantastic if you have the room to display them all. Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of these days I'm gonna put all my bases together and create this huge diorama, and then have my daughter destroy it.
Make her put on like a Godzilla costume or something.
No, I'll get a Barney costume. Have her go in there and just start destroying it.
Get all of your Energon, what was it, long arm? No, signal flares as your maser tanks.
There you go. All right. Keep the questions and topics coming, guys. Really do appreciate it. We're going to move into Botcon. We did talk about it on the Cybercast. If you didn't see the Cybercast, go check it out after the show. But we did mention that Botcon, if you don't know. 2016 is going to be in Louisville, Kentucky, April 7th through the 10th. It's early this year. Whatever speculation you want to go with as far as why it's being early, we should get Pete back on the show and drill him and ask him why. But it's really cool. I mean, we speculated that it's going to be another Shattered Glass year, potentially Beast Wars themed, just because of the fact that anniversary. The prior Shattered Glass years were early also. But again, this is just speculation, so it could totally be just a box set of Cheetors, like Pete was kind of hinting at on the show that one day.
Minor Wars cheater.
Now, do you think it'll be Combiner War, like Shattered Glass Beast Wars Combiner War figure, or made out of? I think we all pretty much assume that we're 80% sure that it's Shattered Glass Beast Wars. But do you think it'll be out of Combiner War molds, or are they going to be bringing back some of like the little, Rat Trap and Rhinox and the Skybite and I don't know what else other ones are out there, but some of the newer stuff that is from Beast Wars that they have done. Maybe they bring over that Optimus Primal, that they did a while back.
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, it would have been nice if we would have gotten the word, or some type of inclination if they're doing the Terracons. And if that would have come out a little bit earlier, then they would have some more, if they go that Combiner Wars, have some more beasts. Will it be centered towards, or will it be separate from the Transformers Collectors Club subscription stuff? Will it go hand in hand with that? Kind of sharing or wanting to be kind of against Thunder Mayhem? Maybe it's the rest of Impactor's Wreckers team. Or maybe it's the Dinobot type of Wreckers from Beast Machines. You don't know, but I would think that they probably would use some Combiner Wars in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's that mock-up out there. I still just sent that picture to Pete because
Shattered Glass. Shattered Glass. Dawn of Futures Past. That'd be interesting.
Well, what did Pete say?
Talking about an X-Men movie?
When I watched.
Well, no, the pre-Beast Wars, so they'd have
the 2006 set, essentially the Botcon 2006 set.
Okay.
Like he said, we did the 2006, Maximals. You would assume we would do Predacons. I mean, he said something to that nature, but again, this is just speculation. But Botcon again, 2016. It's going to be in April. Louisville, Kentucky. Staying over Midwest, East Coast, but should be a great show. And again, the hotel, I forgot what it's called, but you can start reserving, rooms and all that type of stuff. now and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see. Too bad Dakota's not here. I mean, we get some excitement because we're all like, yeah, okay, whatever. What else you got? We go back to Star Wars, but
Yeah.
but a couple of more Transformer topics. I think I've mentioned this before, but I kind of want to just mention it again because I ain't getting any younger, and we talk about it, and I'm going to beat it like a dead horse. Hasbro and Takara have given out the license to other companies to do, for names and all that kind of stuff. We saw that with the Kids Logic and Prime One Studios, even Hot Toys.
Mhm.
Should they do that to some third-party companies? If they can swallow their pride and be like, hey, you know what? Let's make this a nice symbiote type of relationship, and we will allow you to utilize the names now. Maybe they wouldn't do it because they want money. I mean, I'm not looking at the economic side, but should they do that? We could
No.
get masterpiece figures, all that, but it would be official, but just made by a subsidiary.
No. No, I don't think so. Because then you go into as far as design wise goes, like some of the third parties that are putting out some cool stuff. I'm just gonna say Fans Toys Quake Wave, right?
Yeah.
But there's also the quality that goes into it because Fans Toys, they kind of hit a home run with Quake Wave, but every single figure after that has had problems, some type of issue. Still a cool figure, but it still had some type of issue, and Takara would expect more from that. I'm not saying that Takara's not put out a figure, and there's like maybe somebody out there that has gotten a bad one. With my side swipe, he's like 3 different reds. So I've gotten a bad one before where a lot of everyone else I talked to was like, no, mine's perfectly fine. So, it was just kind of, unlucky of the draw on that one, but
Yeah, but a Rodimus is a better example. That has tremendous amount of QC issues,
yeah,
especially if you got the first run.
yeah, and that's also something that's very, very early on. Because I don't think that the way I always look at it is MP08 Grimlock is whenever it's like, okay, now we're doing it this way, kind of thing, and like that's kind of the way that I look at it. I've still yet to mess with any of my
Yeah, but
paparazzi
Rodimus is
Rodimuses.
MP09. That came after Grimlock, though.
Right. So it was very early on.
Yeah.
So I mean they've had a lot more from them, but I totally get what you're saying. It's there were mistakes made with that one, but like
MP11.
but your MP08 was fine. Your MP10 was fine for the most part.
Yeah.
Like I think on my because I have the Hasbro MP10. Like out of the 4 I have, it was just him that like one of his chests when it closed up, it's like just slightly higher than the other one. You'd never notice it unless I pointed it out. It's one of those things. Because I'm picky and we pay a lot of money for these things. So
Yeah.
But they usually hit more home runs than they have, like failures and stuff like that, to where like Fans Toys, they came out with the Quake Wave, and then every single one after that, there's been issues, and they kind of take care of their customers where they'll send out the replacements and stuff like that, but it depends on who you sign on with, because some companies, they're just like, no.
Yeah, but they would have to adhere to Takara's standards you would think, in order to make the deal. I was just thinking, regardless if Hasbro is going to try and put a stop to third parties, at least, with Botcon, any of that type of crap, it's still going to be out there. And instead of fighting it, to kind of embrace it and try and work with it, because you're making money. DC does that. I think they talked about that on the ROC. DC throws out stuff to every one so they can have the properties because they don't. It's they're just going to make money off of it, and why not? But Transformers, it just seems like we are such a closed niche group that, or like Hasbro, Takara, they don't want to branch out. It took them forever, it seemed like, to finally, hey, you can have statues, you can have a semi-transformable item, but other than that, we don't want you, stepping on our toes.
So let's say this. Charles, you okay there, buddy? You sound like Dakota
Yeah.
over here. All right, well you're just all, like Dakota. I thought he had jumped into the call. But let's say 3 companies, they have to be held to the standards that Takara wants them to as far as plastic quality and the way it's put together.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 third-party companies you'd want to let them do, let's say, Masterpiece Official. I'm saying Fans Toys, X Transbots, because it looks like they got a lot of cool designs.
Yeah.
And I would say Make Toys, and we're just saying it one way. So.
Yeah. The only thing I could see Hasbro telling, like Fans Toys, you'd probably get rid of the diecast. Any of those companies that are dealing with diecast or maybe rubber tires, they would probably tell them, we're going to nix that, and we're going to go with this, because then the price having that Takara emblem on there is going to shoot up. But yeah, definitely, I think Fans Toys has done a great job. I mean, even if you look past their Dinobots, Quake Wave, Tesla, I think they're not bad. Make Toys, they're getting their feet wet. I think their Headmaster Coupla is a good representation of a G1, Chrome Dome.
Yeah.
I think it's good. X Transbots coming a long ways. I mean, they're the dark horse. They hit a home run, I think, with Apollyon, regardless of the complexity of the transformation or the quality at times. Mine's fine. Granted, do I transform it? No. I'm not sitting there transforming it back and forth. Yes, it's a transformer, but it's also an adult collector. It's something that's high priced. Should it be complicated? Yes and no, but it looks and does the job that it was supposed to be, giving you that MP10 scaled Megatron, and it looks really great on your Decepticon Masterpiece shelf.
Now, I was going to ask you this because you own both of these that I'm about to name. Because
Yes.
some people have said Apollyon, they're like, it's just, the transformation is just so complex. But if the way it looks in robot mode required it to be that complex, then that's not a bad thing, right? But if it's just over complex, just like, well, they could have cut this and that out as you're going through the transformation because that was pointless, then I could be like, okay, well, you don't need to make things more complex than what they need to be, is the point I'm making. And then the point is Leonidas, or is that what his name is, from Perfect Effect. That thing's not a complex transformation, is it? From what I've heard, it's pretty simple. It's not that many steps involved in it, but it's still an awesome looking figure, and you're willing to say it's one of the best third parties of 2015. So the point I'm getting at is, if it calls for it to be that complex so that you get the design that you actually want, and you're like, okay, they hit a home run as far as the way it looks in robot and also alt mode, then it's fine with me. Like a Masterpiece, if it only had like 5 steps, but it looks fantastic in robot and alt mode, then I'm totally cool with that. So, and some people are like, well, that's not really a Masterpiece. It has to have so many steps. No, it needs to be accurate in robot and alt mode. That's what makes it a Masterpiece to me.
Yeah, I think if it represents the character and it's at the cream of the crop, I think that I don't care. I mean, I hate the fact that we started getting into this whole. I mean, it's Hasbro's fault, I think, for labeling a lot of the Chug figures with, hey, it's a 4-step, it's a 1-step, it's a 2-step, and now we have that ingrained in our mind, like, well, if it's a 1-step, that's just a kid's toy, all this kind of stuff. And
right.
I agree with you. If it looks good, if it's a Masterpiece, and you can transform it, in 4 steps, 5 steps, and it looks good both ways, that's fine. If you can design a transformer that has a really great engineering process of transforming, like, legs go here, and you're like, wow, that's really cool. It just flows really nicely. That's
Like
cool.
the Fans Project Headmasters, they all have some kind of unique way
Yeah.
of transforming.
And I'm not talking like the automorphing, gimmick. I mean, it's just like, oh, for a fact that this panel's going to slide down, tuck into here, and it's made for that, and it doesn't take anything away from either mode. The overall complexity, yes, I get the fact that sometimes when you want to transform, let's say a Polygon, or I think Coupla is one of them, it's horrible to transform. It gets frustrating, but you know, at least you have the ability to transform it. Yes, you have to be careful, but it represents what it's supposed to do in both modes. And majority of us are going to have that thing displayed in robot mode anyways. And I don't really, and this is just my opinion, I don't sit there transforming my 4,000, 4,500 amount of transformers every day, every week, 365 days a year, all the time. Because that's just like, okay, I'm going to start off with 1980, move my way all the way up to Transformers Prime, and I'm going to transform them back and forth and all that type of stuff. I just don't do that. I don't have the time. They're there to keep the dust off my shelf. And if they're in robot mode or alt mode, I don't really care. But I think third parties get a bad rap at times. I think they represent something that the Transformers fans needed, wanted. Granted, there's no other third parties out there for any other type of toy line that's viable, that actually makes, money, a lot of money. You have like the Krang out there, you have some stuff for G.I. Joe, but not for Transform, not like Transformers.
Or even spawn its own convention.
Yeah. And I mean, and pick a fight with one of the major toy manufacturers in the world. I mean, not just pick a fight, but I mean, ruffle their feathers a little bit to the point that they're starting to piss us off a little bit, because either they're getting too good and we need to put a stop to it, or they're making a lot of money off of us and we need to put a stop to it.
Well, in fact, we even put the label third party on them, where He-Man, they even had, or at least the vintage ones, you look at a lot of these like knockoff, He-Men, which are completely different characters, and try to make them, their own story and stuff like that. But you could look at, they were like out of Argentina or Mexico or something like that. They were just kind of real cheaply done. And it was because they weren't knockoffs. They weren't saying like, oh, this is He-Man. They were their own thing. So we don't call those third party, or I don't know. Do He-Man collectors call those third party? I have no idea. I think most people just call them knockoffs. But they're not knocking off. They don't look exactly like He-Man. They're their own characters. They're knocking off the style, but it's not like Mattel had a corner on the 5 points of articulation, So.
Yeah. And also, even the word knockoff isn't what it used to be. When 5 years ago, let's say, or even 10, when you said the word knockoff, you think of poor quality and just crap, essentially, and cheap.
Yeah.
Now you think of knockoffs like with G1, you're like, now you feel more concerned. You think, wow, this thing is like dead on, and the quality is almost right there. I'm not going to say it's on par, but it's right there. And a lot of people are going to that knockoff route, especially, if you're looking at Dinobots, Shockwave, the combiners. The quality's almost there. You get all the accessory pieces for a quarter of the cost. And it's a faster way to build up your collection. And the only one that's going to know about it is you. And, I don't see anything wrong with that. I think if that's all you can afford and that's the route you want to go with it. I do think that there is a difference. If you grab, let's say, a knockoff Superion and you hold a genuine Superion, you're going to notice plastic qualities. The knockoffs to me are kind of almost to the point that they're the same quality as like Encore, Transformers Encore, because there is different qualities on the Encore compared to the original, releases back in the 80s. There is plastic quality, all that. But I just want to throw that out there. And the next topic for Transformers really quickly is we talked about this a while back on the Cybercast, where Hasbro was teaming up with another company to do 3D printing. They were not going to just be subjected to Transformers. They were going to go into all the brands. What's happened with that? We haven't heard anything about that, and that would have been a great idea. We talked about it, idea for weapons, accessories, for G.I. Joe Transformers. Would you guys be up for that? Would you pay, whatever price? I'm sure it's not going to be a lot of money, but would you utilize that service?
Does someone else want to go? Do y'all guys want to come back to the call?
Probably like to see that. I mean, depending on what the accessories are, how much they're pricing it, and whether they have the option to buy them painted or not. It just depends on if they're still doing that or when.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it would be a great company to go to. I mean, if you trying to find a certain gun for a certain figure, and you look on eBay and you can't find it, or are you finding it, but it's at the price that you don't want to pay, and then you can go to this company and it'd be cheaper. Yeah, I think it would. They come back, it would make a good opportunity for the fans.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board with what Charles said, because because you partnered up with them, one, it's going to be officially licensed. So whenever you buy it, you're like, yes, this is the authentic. Just like you would say like an Encore Triptychon, or what are they calling it? Platinum, whatever the case may be. One of those type of reissues. Yes, it is authentic. Is it original? No. So that would still be that there. And if you list it on eBay, you need to tell. But it's not a KO. It's an actual licensed product by them. And I think it would also, not only are they be making money off of that, because no one's paying stupid money for weapons anymore on eBay. They'll just go straight to the source, Hasbro and this 3D printing company. But a lot of people probably, because me sometimes, I'll look at, do I want to, how much do I want to get into this Ninja Turtle line? And the only way that I want my vintage Ninja Turtles is if they're 100% complete. I want every single weapon, every little throwing star, everything. I just like things complete. And if I see that, this figure is expensive, or even Transformers, because it's, they're more expensive than Ninja Turtles, but let's say a Transformer, not complete, he's, that Galaxy shuttle that we saw that one time on the, eBay.
Yeah.
But he didn't have his little,
his tail fin.
Yeah, the tail fin. But they were still asking kind of stupid money for, where it'd be like, oh, well, now I can get that, but then I can go pay $50 and get the the fin, it's officially licensed by Hasbro Takara or whatever. Now that's more worth it, to where I'm just kind of turned off from the figure altogether now because it's so expensive. So I think it would play a part in that, or even Triptychon. Like, I was missing a gun for like 2 years. Full tilt's gun, and I ended up breaking down, and actually I got it cheap, but it usually goes for about $60 plus. I ended up getting it for like $35, which is still expensive.
Yeah, for a little tiny gun.
But I'll probably lose again.
Yeah, it would be nice to get officially licensed product that that's going to have that quality, because I know there's people out there, you've seen them on eBay, that do little resin, type of molds, casts, and all that of even Full Tilt's gun, and you can get it for like $12 or whatever. But the quality is kind of there, hit or miss. Is it going to be painted? Is it not going to be painted? All that, but it just seems like it's an untapped market for Hasbro, but yet they're a big enough fish in the pond that they don't really need to even look at that, because that probably wouldn't generate a lot. That would be more for the collector. Maybe it'd be something that the Collectors Club, Fun Pub could team up, through Hasbro or whatnot, through a 3D company or whatnot, and they can offer that maybe as packs at Botcon or whatever. I don't know, but it would be nice to be able to get some like stuff like that.
It's good for the collector. I just like you said, I don't see how it really puts a whole lot of money into Hasbro's pockets, because if I pay $600 for some vintage Japanese figure on eBay, that's not extra money in Hasbro's pocket. I mean, they've already sold that figure, for $40. So regardless what it goes on eBay, they don't care.
Yeah.
So the only money coming into them would be, from what we buy from them.
Yeah, it's wishful thinking.
Yeah, so it would be like a nice service to be like, look what we're doing for you vintage collectors,
Yeah, it'd be like giving us the Combiner Wars, like let's say the aerial bots, and they don't package the weapons, and then they say, hey, go to our 3D printing, site, and we'll give you, you can buy the weapons. Well, why don't you package them, already? But yeah, that's how I can see Hasbro actually doing that with current stuff. But just wanted to throw that out there because, that was something that Hasbro talked about, teaming up with a company, and we haven't seen it. Probably fell through. I don't know. And the last question, then we can just have an open forum, is the fact that who do you think has the craziest fan base? Thinking about all the toy lines or, collectors out there, who's the most vocal? Who's the most just out of their frickin' minds? Put it that way. Star Trek, Star Wars, Transformers, Masters of the Universe.
All the above.
They're all pretty crazy. And,
Yeah.
There was even a point in the show last night where we said, when was Phantom Menace? And we were like, was it 1999? And you're like, no, I think it was 1997. And you knew, because like we are talking Star Wars, we have their fan base, and then also a lot of people, they watch us because we talk Transformers and stuff like that. They're watching, and we know both of those fan bases would, if you did not look it up yourself and be like, like 20 seconds later, be like, oh, by the way, it's 1999, then we would have had 20 comments of 1999 with every one of them like 50 likes, It's like, okay, yeah, we saw it the first time. We didn't need every one of you to verify, Sorry, we got one thing wrong. We were off by 2 years. Like, the whole point was the thing happened a long time ago, like before 2000. But that's the one thing I've noticed about Transformer fans is, like, you could do a 15-minute review and it just be just awesome. You can tell every little thing that you need to do the transformation absolutely correct, and show everything that someone would need to know on buying that figure. But if you call Blue Streak Prowl on accident once, you're going to have 10 comments on that.
Yeah, or eject rewind, or anyone that's familiar.
A mistake because you just picked up Prowl and you're doing a comparison to try to do that. And so you're like, okay, well, that's Prowl, and then it's just because this stuff is not scripted, and you accidentally say Prowl instead of Blue Streak, and you don't think enough of it to be like, I'm sorry, this is actually him, and this. You're just like, whatever, I made a mistake, and you keep on just moving on because you're recording live.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the comments you will get. Like every single one of them. It's like, okay, yeah, I made a mistake. So, but out of the 15-minute review, you just hung on to that one thing. That's the only thing you hung on to. Did you enjoy it? Did it? Do you know more now before watching it to help you make a decision whether you maybe need to buy this or not?
I know it's not Prowl. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I don't want to talk about any of that stuff, but that's not Prowl. Like, that's the type of stuff where I'm just like, it's like Transformer fans, man. Tulala, he says 99.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, like, I guess passionate would be a better word than just crazy, but I'm in there also with the craziness because I'll be honest. When I watch a review at times, especially if it's a third party, because I need to see something. If I have it on order and I know I'm getting it, but I have to go and watch a review, whoever has it, and be like, oh, cool, that looks so awesome. I have that. Oh, I can't wait to get that. But when they have no clue at times, or they just decide to discount the character because it's a Japanese character, oh, that just pisses me off. Um, I don't, but I won't go in there and, like, hey, that guy's name is this. Get it right, dude. He's from this thing and all this other. Because, one, who cares? It's the internet. Two, they don't care about your opinion, and personally, I don't really care about anyone else's opinion, and I just, you need to let it go. But it does at times, like, man, it's not quick switch redecoed as a blue dude. That's Six Knight. Who's Six Knight? It's like, dude, it's from Master Force. Come on, it's not hard. You can Google that crap. That's the nice thing. You have the power of information at your fingertips, but yet we use that ability to just do hate. Be like, well, you know what? You're just an idiot. You can't do this.
Well,
Instead of me just looking up something and be like, yeah, Six Knights from Super God Master Force, Decepticon, Autobot. He, saw what the humans can do, wants to kind of try and get that power, gets killed by Black Zarek. Oh no, there you go, boom, done.
How about how about uh this dude is totally authentic. Uh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gold,
What?
the great gold run.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean,
And this is the first ever.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that type of stuff is like, I like watching videos because they're humorous. They entertain me in a way that, if you don't know what's going on, that's fine. It's the internet. You're entitled to do whatever you want. I could, 15 minutes of just showing a figure and just like, hey, there it is, and read the back of the card and all that. That's your cup of tea. Some people like that. That's cool. But, at times when you have a passion for something, it's hard to like bite your tongue. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But we do have a passionate group. I know the Masters of the Universe group is very vocal, very passionate.
Oh yeah.
You go to their forums. Um, Man, they'll like, you don't go in there just as a noob and start talking stuff because I swear they'll hunt you down at times. But
Scott,
it's whatever
Scott
is
fired
passionate
or
though.
whatever.
What?
Or Scott.
Oh, Scott Knightley?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
Toy
like
Guru.
they were always calling for his job and stuff, and I was like, it's kind of the same thing with like some Transformer fans. I don't think it's as much with like Pete as it is with uh what it was with Scott Guru,
Hmm.
but like us talking to Pete and knowing what he's, because a lot of people, they just look at like the toys, like, well, that's not what I wanted, or it should have been this or that, or why is the price too high and stuff like that. But talking with him, and like when we've interviewed him several times, had him on the show, I can't think of a better person to represent the Transformer brand, because this dude is like fighting for the Transformer fans, because he is a Transformer fan, like hardcore Transformer fan. You see all the stuff behind him, and he collects the stuff along with the rest of us. And there's people that talk bad about him, or they about the club or subscription service, but the dude's a fan. It would be the same as if one of us became the thing. Hasbro's still only gonna let you have so much leeway on some stuff, and some stuff they won't let you do, or they're doing, or there's, like you said, there's a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor that just never got to, but it would be so cool. So it's because it was nixed by Hasbro or whatever. So
Yeah.
it I don't know, to answer your original question, man. Just because we deal with a lot, I think I would have to say Transformers.
Transformers.
But He-Man would probably be right there with them.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, Scott was a passionate He-Man fan. He collected it. He did a lot of the stories, bios, stuff like that. But he had a lot of things going against him because the subscription service was horrible at times.
Yeah.
And it took a while for it to kick in, and they have Digital River too. That doesn't help you. It's like, yeah, who's your ally, Digital River? And they're just like, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to, I mean, I barely want to keep my subscription and go into the Thundercats, but it's gotten a lot better than the original days. But I just wanted to throw that out there. I mean, we're a passionate group, but there's other groups out there. But like, again, Force Friday, going back to that, I didn't see those crazy Star Wars fans. I saw them lined up, but everyone was cool. Everyone's like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited. I'm pumped up. They weren't like, man, this, get the hell out of my way. I want that figure. Here's an elbow. Here's a knee. Headbutt him, honey, while I steal his stuff and take off. All that type of stuff. Because it could happen. Because there's limited amount of stock, and you see that. But you do see it online because you're behind a keyboard and you're invincible because there's no ramifications because you could speak whatever you want, which is that's your God-given right. But I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, whenever I did my Force Friday at midnight, and then also kind of going back, like talking to a lot of Star Wars fans, and even being in line for an hour or a little bit over an hour. Actually, the people right next to me, like I knew them. They were ex Toys R Us employees. So, and it was awesome talking to them. I even talked to some other Star Wars fans that were close by. Ended up some of the same faces. I ended up seeing them at Walmart a little bit later on, and I was talking to them and stuff like that. And everyone, they wanted their stuff, but at the same time, they were like, hey, these are other Star Wars fans. I want to help you out. So, because when I first went to Walmart, the toy aisle, it was just nothing but empty pegs all over the place. And then I asked, the stock guy, and he was like, actually, there's like 5 pallets, with their displays, back in front of shoes for some weird reason. So I was like, all right, cool. And as I was walking out, I saw some other people that I had saw from Toys R Us. And I was like, hey, just so you guys know, there's nothing on the pegs. It's all back there in front of shoes. They're, oh, thank you so much. And it was that, like, hey, you're fans too. I want to help you out. We're all here for the same reason. We enjoy this, and it's a fun little thing. So I like that. It wasn't cutthroat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that too. So that's it. If we have any topics, questions, put them in the chat if you like. Open forum. We'll do this for probably another couple of minutes, 15 minutes or so. If we could talk. What?
You do have one from Shelf Warmer, and he says retro gaming. That's a real volatile community right there, or even gaming in general.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that are wishing death threats and stuff to families over, like, oh, how dare you say Xbox is better than PlayStation? It's like, does it matter?
Yeah, that's probably the worst because it's very, very passionate to the point it gets hostile.
The gaming, that's the worst community out there, is the gaming community. And I'm not saying that I don't like games or gaming, like totally enjoy it. But you have so many younger people, 10, 12-year-olds, to where they're saying, every other like word is misspelled, but they're cussing at you, they're saying racist stuff, they're wishing you would die and get a disease or whatever the case may be.
Get a disease.
And like, seriously, they say this stuff in the comments, and it's like, they don't really know what they're saying yet. Like, if you would have, like, hey, let's throw, another 15 years on you and show you, like, hey, this is what you said to someone over this, they'd be like, Jesus, I was so immature, So, I don't. They say stuff with no filter because the way we didn't have like internet like when we were that age, or yeah, I guess we did. Played Oregon Trail and stuff like that, but
I didn't have the internet for that though. That
yeah,
was just
just
hang
computer.
around an Apple computer.
Yeah.
Just that floppy
But as
disk. I
far as
got it
like
first.
social media, what it is today, we didn't have that back in when we were that age, James.
Yeah.
And the way that maybe that plays a part into it now, because the way I look at it now, I'm not saying something to someone over the internet and like an open thing, unless I would say that thing to their face, because that's the way it always was. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if you really want to say something and you want to be disrespectful to someone, then you would say it to your face because that's the only way you could say it.
Yeah. We passed notes and said, hey, we're going to pound you at 3 o'clock when school's out. And we just
Playground
pass it back
behind the swing.
in the classroom. That's how you got things done. Or, here, pass this note. It's like, what? You think I'm in what? It's like, we didn't have any of that texting crap. But again, yeah, I mean, the gaming community, yeah, it's horrible as far as I think it's just the hype in the game, and it's very competitive, and no one wants to lose, and people are just yeah, and then you get the Mountain Dew junkies, and you get the sugar hires, you get all this other factors in there that can contribute to a great atmosphere. Lack of sleep. I've been going at it for 18 hours straight. I'm smelling a little ripe here, but I'm gonna keep going because it's keeping me awake. All that type of stuff. But I don't know.
Did you see the Jimmy Kimmel thing, to where Jimmy Kimmel was like, "Can you believe that people are watching other people play video games? Like, they could be playing the game on their own, but they're watching other people." And I was like, okay, well, he's got something there, because there's a few reasons why I would watch someone play video games. One, I can't figure something out, so I need help, so I go and I look for it.
Yeah, it's like a review of a
Two,
toy.
if they're like, hey, I want to talk about something like we're doing right now, they're like, hey, I want to watch something kind of in the background, whatever. Something going on, something that I like, I can get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the gamers, like, those are two good points that I just made. I didn't say anything racist. I didn't wish death on anyone. I just made two good points, and that's what type of stuff, if you want to have some type of debate, that's what you would leave in the comments. But what these people were saying, oh, well, why do you watch football when you can just go outside and play football? That's like, because these are professional athletes. They're like, well, these are professional gamers and stuff like that. And it's like,
I can't throw the ball to myself.
It's totally different. It's like, well, why are you watching basketball when you can just go out and shoot some hoops? I'm like, yeah, but I can't dunk. And then I got to get 10, I got to get me and like 9 other friends to have 5-on-5 and make sure that we're at a place where we have 2 goals. And none of us have the talent, that, these professional players play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it's a dumb analogy. I know what they're trying to do with it, but no, it doesn't work. But there's also, a lot of racist stuff, and again, I don't know why they always go that route, but there's cussing, and just, wishing death. There's a lot of misspelled words. It's like they're so mad that they just can't even type correctly. They're just,
Just start slamming their hands on the keyboard.
Yeah, so that's got to be, the worst community, I think.
Let's see. I watched a couple of these gamers, through YouTube, and a couple of them actually took the comment section that had all the hate comments and replied to them and just let it roll off their back, and the replies were just hilarious. So, I mean, if you can flip it on its head, turn the hate into something that you can make fun of yourself.
Oh yeah, and
just,
I mean
just
that
to
goes,
show them that it doesn't bother you.
and it just goes into people just troll around too, just to throw out stuff. But Um, other than that, you guys got anything else? Lost a couple of people. Triple Change, your Octane is going to bed, so have a good night. Um, and that's about it. I mean, I don't know. I
Yeah.
have nothing else to bring up.
I don't either. So,
So
we're like, I mean, between the past, God, like in 24 hours, we've done 3 shows, Jane.
yeah, I know. It's been fun.
It's a lot. And then still gotta wake up early so we can get those get to TRU early so we can get that exclusive snow trooper.
Yep. So, thanks everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. To all the live viewers, to all the viewers that are going to watch in video form, thank you again. If you want, subscribe, like, do all that. Go check out G1 Extron's channel for the Cybercast. That's in video form, and also check out our new show, which is the Retro Spotlight. It deals with mainly 80s cartoons, toys, movies, games, all that type of stuff. 80s pop culture. Really entertaining. The first episode's all about the Force Friday and episode 7, The Force Awakening and stuff like that. So check that out. But guys can outro yourselves. Charles, start us
I'm
off.
sure you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Optimus4Prez.
Dalton?
I'm Dalton. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Daltonians TFs.
Josh?
You can find me G1 Hextron everywhere, but on the Facebook page, just put the in front of it.
Cool. And you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, VictorySaber77. Instagram is the VictorySaber77. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you next week.
Peace.